Hello and welcome to today's video. This is a big book unhaul basically. It's probably not going to be too long, but I'm just going to go over all the books that I'm going to be getting rid of kind of this time round. I try and do this a couple of times a year, so this is the mid-year book unhaul. And yeah, it's as simple as that. I've got a couple of books that I've read, and like, although I like to keep most books that I've read, if there's ones that I like actively disliked, I'll get rid of those. I've got another pile of books that I've like tried, but like I don't class them as read. Some of them I read enough to class as like proper DNFs, and then others I read a few pages and was like, yeah, no, not for me. And then I've just got another pile where it's just books that I'm getting rid of just because I don't fancy reading them anymore. And there is kind of a bit of a theme in that pile where half of them are from a particular author and the rest are just random. So yeah, that is the basic of it. Basically we're in kind of like mid-July now. Obviously like halfway through the year is the end of June. I just really feel like I need to get rid of some of these. I will probably do another book exchange video at some point in the next few weeks, and actually take these books to book exchanges. But for now, this is just the books I'm getting rid of. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with the two that I have read and are getting rid of because I really didn't like them. And these are these two books. These are both the Ladybird book of. And then book one is The Hipster and book two is The Midlife Crisis. I got both of these because at one point 3-4 years ago we stayed in an Airbnb and there was one of these, the Ladybird book of. I can't remember what it was, but it was actually alright. Like I remember reading through it like whilst we were stopping there and being like, oh, like this is quite good. So when I saw these two, at least one of them was from a charity shop, this has still got the sticker on the back, but when I saw these two for what I assume was cheap, I picked them up and I read them, and to be quite honest, they were utter shite. I have no interest at all in reading them again or even reading any more in this series. The one I read must have been a fluke, honestly. These were just dreadful. They weren't funny. They were obviously trying to be funny, and it just wasn't a good time, and it wasn't even like a good reading experience. I got nothing out of this except for like hatred of these books, so I'm getting rid of both of them. And then I've got 5 that I've like started to read and just haven't continued on with. So this first one is When God Was a Rabbit. I was seeing this all the time in like all of the charity shops, so I was like, I'll pick it up, give it a go. And the more and more I've thought about it and the longer it's been on my shelf, I've realised I have literally no interest in this. I think I read the first like 2, maybe 3 pages just to see like, am I actually intrigued with this? And honestly I'm not at all. So there's no point reading a book I'm not actually interested in anymore, so that's why that one's going. Then we have The Looks, and you will see the second book in this series later on. But yeah, I read the first few pages of this, looked it up on Goodreads and realised I was mistaken when I picked it up. I was really convinced that this was fantasy. It's not fantasy, and because it's not, and it's YA, I'm not really interested in it. The only YA that I'm still really enjoying is fantasy. The rest of them I just don't care about. And this is a romance that's also historical, so I just have no interest. I don't care about it. I'm not going to read it. And then the last one where I've only tried the first few pages is this one. This is just called 13 Bullets, A Vampire Tale. I read the first, again, it is probably like a few pages. I didn't like how it was written, and there's so many vampire books out there. I was like, if I don't like the writing style and how this is being written, then let's just get rid of it. Like, it was on my 12 books that were like self-destruct at the end of this year anyway, so I was like going through them trying to figure it out, and I'm just not going to read it. And I can be honest about that. Like, I've been staring at it for the last 6 months on that pile of books I need to get to by the end of the year, and dreading having to read it, so why am I doing it? Honestly, it could be a good book. I could be missing out here. It's the one where I'm a bit like, should I have persevered a bit more? But honestly, no. Like, I have so many books to read. If I'm not really interested, let's just say bye. And then we've got 2 more in this pile that are like ones that actually class as DNFs. So the first one is Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. I really tried with this one. I wanted to read this for like a cheesy YA high school vlog that I was doing, and I just had to DNF it. It was so bad, like to the point where I feel like the writing was bad. honestly. That might be bad to say, I don't know, but like I really wasn't enjoying it. The characters were bad, and the more and more I was reading, like I remember enjoying the movie of this, and I was like, this book is going to ruin it. Like, I don't think I will ever watch the movie, but this book was just honestly so dreadful, mainly because of the main character and just like the portrayal and what was going on and like how things were being said and like how young it was reading as well. Like this is like, I think it's senior year of high school maybe, I can't even remember, it doesn't say on the back, but it wasn't reading like that. This was like 11-year-olds running around. Yeah, not good, didn't enjoy it, don't want to read it. And then the other one is Hold. This one was a very recent DNF. I picked this up the last time I did a book exchange video thinking I might enjoy it, but I didn't have time to properly look into it because it started raining. And I quickly realised that I don't think I had any like intention of reading it physically, but it had an audiobook and like the concept of it on the back does sound really interesting. But honestly the audiobook was bad. Like nothing wrong per se with like the actual narrator, but just the speed of it wasn't consistent. So some parts I was listening to on 2x speed, and then like the next paragraph I need to slow it down to like 1 times, and then like 1.2 and then 1.8 and then back to 1 and then 2 and then 1.5, and the speed at which the like, not even chapter by chapter, it wasn't like that, it was like paragraph by paragraph, it was changing. Like I couldn't listen to it, and I have no interest in reading it physically, so I've DNF'd it. It's going. So on to the biggest pile, which is books that are just going because I say so. Because I say so. So this is the pile, and we're pretty evenly split. There's 5 that are from one author and then 5 more random ones. So let's do the 5 by the one author first, and I'll explain a little bit. So if I twist them round and show them, the author is Stephen King. Basically, I like to collect books, I like to read books, so at one point I brought from Facebook Marketplace for, I think it was £5, 3 bin bags full of books for £5. Like it was amazing, it was great. I kept quite a few of them and like gave quite a few of them away and like sold a few as well. Like it was decent, it was good. And I kept all of the Stephen King ones because I like Stephen King. I'm gonna want to read these at some point, probably, most likely. I've never read a Stephen King, I don't know why my brain was doing that. So yeah, I still have kept a couple of those from that box. I think I've still got like 2 Stephen King books and also one where it's like Stephen King and his son that's wrote it as well, where I've now read them properly, read the descriptions properly, and I am interested in those. But these ones here are ones that I'm probably not interested in. Well, I say that, I'm going to do these first 3 together. And that's these 3. These 3 books are all part of the Dark Tower series. None of them is book 1. I think this one's the last book, I think, and these are just random books. I think there's like 7 or 8 books in the series in total, and I have 3 random books from it. None of them match, none of them, like, you know, I can't even really read the back of them. Obviously I've read into Dark Tower, and honestly I think it's a series I could be interested in, but I'm not going to read it now. I don't see myself reading it in like the next 5 years, the amount of books that I've already got, and like I'm trying not to buy too many. So I think I'm just going to get rid of these. Someone will really like be happy that they've found them, someone who wants to continue this series. And if I ever do decide to read the Dark Tower books, I'll just get them as and when. I don't think they're particularly difficult to find, and to be honest, I'm just not interested in keeping these, knowing that I don't think I'll ever read it. If I really end up enjoying Stephen King's writing style, then maybe I will, because it is his more like fantasy type series rather than horror, but I just don't think I will, honestly. But that's like me, Heather, saying that. In 5 years time I might be really interested in it. It might be the way that my reading's going. Right now I don't need 3 random books of a series that I'm not going to read for at least 5 years, let's be honest. And then another one is Heart in Atlantis. Again, I read the back and it just doesn't really intrigue me at all. So yeah, I don't know. It's set from 1960 to 1999. and it's really rooted in the 60s apparently, and like it's all to do with like Vietnam War and the like after effects of that as well, and that's just not something that interests me, so I'm letting it go. And then the other one is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, and again I've read the back of it, it just doesn't intrigue me. Like I read the back of all of the books, and the two that I've kept that are like just the Stephen King ones, I read the back and I was like, do you know what, like I'm actually interested in this, it could be good. This one just doesn't intrigue me. Again, it's one that I might regret getting rid of later on if I read Stephen King and end up like really loving like his writing style and what the books are. Maybe I will want to revisit those in the future, but I'm talking like distant future here. It's not going to be in the next few years, it's probably not going to be in the next 5 or 10 years, let's be honest. So get rid of them. Someone will love the chance to own them and get to read them. Then I have 5 left, and I can very easily, well, this one here is the second book in the Lux series. I decided not to read the first one, so I'm also getting rid of the second. I brought these at the same time from like the same charity shop. They've got books 1 and 2, so that one's going. Easy, get rid of. These 3 are all going. I will show you them a bit closer. This is Crusade. This is Warriors, The New Prophecy. This is P.S. I Still Love You. These 2 are books 2 in series I don't own books 1 of, and don't really have any intention of buying book 1, so why do I have book 2 on my shelves? I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. So they're going. And this one is technically book 1 in a series, but I think this is like the 3rd or 4th series in the book series. So I think I'd need to buy about 40 books before getting to this one. Realistically, I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to buy them. I'm not going to end up reading this, so it's going. And then I just have 1 book left. This is the final book I'm getting rid of, and this is The Choice. I was really happy when I found this in a charity shop. Really wanted to read it. It sounds really interesting. And the more I've read into it, so it's a translated one. It does it say what it was originally? It doesn't say. The author is Czech, so I assume it was written in Czech and translated. The more and more I've looked into it and the more I've read into it, the less I'm interested, and I'm realistically just not going to read it. I think I love the cover more than I love what I'd actually be reading. And every description is very different for it. Like the description on the back of the book, the one on Goodreads, the one on Amazon, it's all very different, and honestly I'm just not interested. I know that sounds dreadful. I picked it up, I was excited about it when I picked it up, but I no longer am, and I'm just trying to actually only own books that I want to read, and I don't want to read this one anymore, so again it needs to go. So those are all the books. Like I said before, these are probably all going to go to like book exchanges. In the UK we have a lot of telephone boxes that have been converted into like a book exchange basically. You can just go and pick up a book, or you can go and like exchange a book, or just like leave books there. And I'm probably going to take these with me and donate them there, and probably pick up books that I'm much more excited about. So that's obviously more important and what I want to do. So yeah, expect the video where I actually do that coming soon if that is something that you are interested in. However, if you are interested in that and you haven't watched my previous video on going to book exchanges, I'll link that up above. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the book unhaul. I know I didn't go into a lot of detail, but honestly, I don't know a lot about them, so that's all we get. Give the video a like if you liked it. Subscribe down below if you'd like to see more videos like this, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye!